Hello everybody, so today I'm going to talk to you about angles, a new key topic in geometry. So an angle is made up when two rays meet each other. The point where they meet is called the vertex. So the vertex in this set of angles will be right here. The two rays that make up the angle are both called arms. So we can see the angle here has two arms that make it up. Now an angle is just a way that we measure rotation. So if we picture this angle here, or this arm, it would have to rotate to get to this position here. Now the angle is just how much that has to rotate. So if we look at two examples, we can look at the angle here between these two arms and the angle here between these two arms. So we have a smaller angle here and a larger angle here. Now we say the one on the left is smaller because to get from one position to the other, you only have to rotate a small amount. On the right we say that's a bigger angle because to get from one position to the other, you have to rotate a larger amount. If we want to measure the size of an angle, we measure in degrees. I'll put up a separate video for you to see how we measure the size of an angle using a protractor. The main thing to remember is that the less degrees there are, the smaller the angle is. So the one on the left here might have something like 10 degrees, and the one on the right looks like it might have about 95 degrees. So again, a larger amount of degrees just mean the angle is bigger or the rotation is bigger. So when it comes to labeling an angle, we also need to know how to do that correctly using the standard mathematical way. So if we look at an angle here that passes through the point A, B and C, there's a special way that we'd name this angle. So we look at our 3 points and then we just follow them in the order that they make the angle. So we can go from B to A to C, and that will make the angle. So we can call this angle the angle, this is our angle symbol, B, A, C. Or I guess alternatively, we could do it the other way. We could go from C to A to B. So it's also okay to call it the angle C, A, B. One thing they'll have in common is the middle letter is the same each time. So that middle letter will always be the vertex, or the point where they join up. So that's the most important letter in how we label an angle. So I'm going to give you a question now to do yourself. Here is two intersecting lines. We've got 5 points we're going to label on them. So we have the points A, B, C, D and E. And what I want you to do is label this angle here now. So you can pause the video and then resume once you have your answer down. If you need to look back over the last part of the video, you can too. Just want you to name that angle there. So if you have named the angle, there's two possible answers just like last time. We could follow it from A to E to D, which would make it the angle A, E, D. Or you could go the opposite way and you could go from D to E to A to trace out the angle. Both of these are perfectly fine ways to label that angle. Again, if you want to just double check your work, make sure that the middle point is the vertex. So both of these use E as the middle point because E is the vertex of this angle here we've shown in green. So now we're going to have a look at the different types of angles. So there's a few different keywords here you'll have to get used to. The first one we'll look at is the right angle. So a right angle is an angle that makes 90 degrees. The two arms make an angle of 90 degrees with each other. Sometimes this will be shown as a symbol like this or a symbol like this. right angles will look pretty familiar because a lot of the buildings, a lot of the different things we create as humans have right angled corners to them. So you can think of most of the buildings, you know, any books, any wardrobes will usually have right angled corners. Again, the most important part about that is that the angle is 90 degrees. We can also show that by just drawing the angle in as 90 degrees here. This little circle is the symbol for degrees. An acute angle is an angle that measures less than 90 degrees. So this is an example of acute angle because the angle shown inside here is less than 90 degrees. And this is an example of an acute angle, again because the angle shown in here is less than 90 degrees. A straight angle is the third type of angle we're going to look at now. To visualize a straight angle and why they call it a straight angle, we're just going to look at one ray here that starts at A and passes through a point B. Now if we were to rotate this ray by 180 degrees, we would rotate it through 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and it would end up here. So if we were to draw another arm, where that's after ending up, it would be out here. So this actually makes a straight line, which is why we call it a straight angle. So a straight angle again will be an angle that has rotated through 180 degrees. An obtuse angle is an angle that measures between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. For reference, I'm showing you a 90 degree angle here on the left and a 180 degree angle here on the right. So our obtuse angle should be somewhere in between these. An example of an obtuse angle might be something like this. You can see here it's greater than our 90 degree angle, but less than the 180 degree angle. It doesn't matter if it's only slightly bigger than 90 degrees, like this one here, or only slightly smaller than 180 degrees, like this one here. A full angle is an angle that measures exactly 360 degrees. So to do this again, we're going to look at a ray that we'll call AB, which starts at A and passes through the point B. If we start measuring from A and rotate by 360 degrees, it will end up at the exact same line. So this is a rotation of 360 degrees, a full turn, or what we'd call a full angle. The next term we'll look at is the term ordinary angle. Now an ordinary angle is any angle that's less than 180 degrees. So this can include acute angles. It can include right angles, which measure 90 degrees. And it can also include obtuse angles, which measure greater than 90 degrees. Again, the only thing they all have in common is they measure less than 180. Have a look at these two angles and see if you can see which one is an ordinary angle. Pause the video until you've made up your mind. So if you answered the one on the left, then you're correct, because this angle here is less than 180 degrees. It is an ordinary angle. The one on the right has an angle greater than 180 degrees. We know this because it travels greater than it would if it was to make a straight line out here. So because it's greater than 180 degrees, we cannot say that's an ordinary angle. But we do have a special term for that type of angle, which we'll look at now. A reflex angle is an angle that measures between 180 degrees and 360 degrees. So I'm going to show you those two angles again for reference. So on the left hand side here we have a straight angle or a 180 degree angle, and on the right hand side we have a full angle or a 360 degree angle. Again, for an angle to be considered a reflex angle, it has to be somewhere between these two. So an example of a reflex angle could be something like this, which is greater than 180 but less than 360. Could be something like this, which measures about 270 degrees. Or it could be something like this, which is only slightly over 180 degrees. And null angle is the second last keyword that we need to learn on this video. Now, anybody who's familiar with the term null will know that it means 0 or nothing. So a null angle is just an angle of 0 degrees. So if you look at this ray and we rotate it through 0 degrees, it'll stay exactly where it is. So therefore we call that a null angle. So the final term we're going to look at in this video is supplementary angles. Now, supplementary angles is slightly different from the other ones because it involves two angles. So a supplementary set of angles is a set of angles that adds up to 180 degrees or add together to make a straight edge. So these two angles here are a good example. This angle here we can say is 135 degrees. And this angle here we can say is 45 degrees. When those angles are combined or added together, they give us a straight angle here of 180 degrees overall. So you can see the absolute angle they make from here to here is 180 degrees. And we're going to have a look at another set of angles now. I'm going to draw the angles for you, and I want you to tell me if they're supplementary. So the two angles here are 75 degrees and 105 degrees. And you can pause the video now and try and work out whether they are supplementary angles or not. Then just press play when you're ready for the answer. So the answer is that these two angles are supplementary because 75 degrees plus 105 degrees will add together to give us 180 degrees or a straight angle.